So I'm back in Sheffield for the South Yorkshire Masters Swimming Championships 2025. 2 weeks on from Masters Nationals. I'm back at Ponds Forge racing in the 50 metres freestyle and butterfly, as well as the 100 metres freestyle. Didn't PB in any of these events at Masters Nationals, and therefore looking to do just that in each of these events here today. I'm confident of doing so. The reason being is that I was very close to all of my personal bests in these races, and also noticed some significant technical errors that I made, and therefore have practiced these over the past 2 weeks. And if I go in with the intention of getting these right and manage to execute them correctly, then I'm sure that PBs will be on the cards today. But let's get in and start the warm-up. Always up these long stairs. And here we are once again. Sheffield Hallam graduation back on. Naturally have to give a disapproving look, being a Uni of Sheffield faithful.
Good start. Good start. It's all about the turn. That's all right, yeah. That's all right. Did the right thing in half a stroke, but right choice. Come on, dig in. It's looking good. Dig in. .30.8.
So a season's best of 30.86 in the 50 metres butterfly. Still 0.29 seconds off a personal best, or is it 0.39 seconds off a personal best? My apologies. Yeah, just not really expecting a personal best in the 50 fly this year, on the basis that it's not something I've really been training for. So to go better than I did at Nationals 2 weeks ago, I'm extremely happy with, especially on the basis that we have pads at the 25, which means it's not quite as easy to do your turn. That was the culprit of my race. I didn't land the turn all that well. I had to glide in, which just took up so much time, and was probably actually the difference between me getting there or thereabouts to my personal best. But nonetheless, a very good race. Better than last week was my dive, so absolutely smashed that. Didn't go too deep this time. I don't know, my brain just didn't clock that I was racing straight after the dive, which is a little bit annoying. I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully it goes away for the 50 freestyle, but just a little bit annoyed because I feel as though it was there or there for the taking on the 50 fly, just with a little bit of tweaking. If I'd have gotten the turn right, it probably would have, I probably would have done it. So yeah, I don't know. Again, I've just said that I'm reasonably happy with that time, which I am. It's a sub 31, which is always good. It might be a personal best when you've got a pad at the 25. Might be, if not, it's very, very close. It would have been a 30.81 with a pad. I don't know. It'd be very close to find out what my personal best with a pad at the 25 is. But nonetheless, as I say, it makes it harder to do the turn, because you can't pull yourself into the wall and get a good push off at the 25. So yeah, it's a good race. Reasonably happy with. It certainly wasn't a disappointing race, but yeah, it's difficult because I haven't raced 50 fly this year. I don't know where to put it, but you know, reasonably happy with it this year. On to the big one, 53. So coming in with a quick fact check, that 50 fly was my second fastest time ever, and fastest with pads at the 25, just 1/100th of a second slower than the time I did at this competition 2 years ago, which was 2 weeks after me doing my personal best ever time, which did have a rail at the 25 for me to grab and hold on to. So absolutely amazing swim in that sense. Made me feel a little bit better. So that means my 50 fly is pretty much there or thereabouts, which is an absolutely fantastic result. It's time to get excited because we have got a Westcough record in the 50 meters freestyle. Hopefully you've clocked on that means a personal best of 27.75. Absolutely mad, knocking 0.19 seconds off of my previous personal best of a 27.95. And as you can see, I cannot stop smiling after that swim. That's an absolutely massive personal best. Obviously I've been training to get faster at the 50 meters free this year, sacking off endurance events on the basis that I've just had a baby this year, my first baby this year, and obviously training gets disrupted as a result of that. To actually get a personal best this year is absolutely insane. I'm absolutely over the moon with that one. Haven't got any technical analysis of that race because I'm just so euphoric. Obviously it went well. It's the best I've ever swum in this event before. So we'll take a look. Of course we'll take a look once I've had an opportunity to watch the footage back, but absolutely incredible. Unbelievable, Jeff.
Sorry, Dave.
So a 101.33 in the 100 meters freestyle, constituting my second best ever short course 100 meters freestyle and probably third best ever 100 free performance if you take my converted best long course time into the mix. So a very good swim, and what's important here is that it's not only a Ponds Forge personal best in the 100 meters freestyle, smashing my previous Ponds Forge personal best of a 101.75. So that's taking 0.42 seconds off. Quick maths there, off of the best time I've ever swum in 100 freestyle at Ponds Forge, but also a UK personal best in the 100 free. My short course personal best was done in Madeira at Europeans, as was that long course 100 free in Belgrade last year. So the best I've ever swum at Ponds Forge and in the UK in a 100 meters freestyle. So that's something to be very happy about this evening, which I most definitely am. And yeah, it's been a fantastic meet. So close to getting that short course personal best in the 100 free. Short course personal best is a 101.26, so literally 0.07 seconds off. It was, you know, absolutely nail biting. Going into the finish, I probably should have just kept my head down and taken one less breath, probably would have done it to clinch the personal best. But nonetheless, it was a fantastic performance and some decent learning points going into Europeans, which is in a month's time in Lublin, which I am very excited for off the back of this, because hopefully just with the atmosphere of Europeans, it's going to help me just clock that one gear higher. And I'm going to take those personal bests in the 50 fly and 100 freestyle this year. But a personal best in the 50 free. So that's what I've been training all year for. I'm super ecstatic to have actually achieved it in a year where I've had my first child. Yeah, I didn't think that was possible at the start of the year, or, you know, when the baby came. And, you know, I just think that that's a fabulous, you know, incredible result that's made me speechless. And to come so close of my 100 free personal best and 50 fly personal best as well is just, you know, absolutely incredible as well. So we're not done yet. We've got one more competition to go. Europeans in Lublin, arguably the biggest competition of the year. maybe it was Masters Nationals, but nonetheless, I've done the job here, and time for a curry. Sunday afternoon, and it's straight back into the gym work because we still have one more competition of 2025, and it's arguably the biggest, the European Masters Short Course Swimming Championships, to take place in Lublin over mid-December, and therefore I've got about 4 more weeks of hard training before this competition begins. I'm yet to decide as to when I'm going to start tapering, / if I do a taper at all, I might start the taper at the start of the week that I fly out, and therefore hopefully I'll be nice and fresh going into the competition, which is towards the back end of the week. Not quite sure yet, but we'll see how things go. But anyway, to tell you about this morning's gym session, it was a weekend, and therefore it was in the gym doing the bits that I was unable to do over the course of last week at home. So using the machines that I can't use at home, and it was finishing off the 3-week phase that I was currently on of my new gym program. So the first 3-week phase. So all went well in that regard. So I'm looking forward from next week, or should I say this week onwards, my next gym set, to be starting doing some new exercises. It's good just to shake things up and freshen things up a little bit. But just doing things like cable machine, leg curls as well, some chin-ups because I haven't got my chin-up bar set up yet. All these sorts of things that are just, yeah, it's easier to do in the gym at this point in time. The ambition is to be able to do it all at home, but for now, those sort of niche exercises where you need bespoke gym equipment, I've still got that gym membership for. So yeah, a good session today, and yeah, fingers crossed that continues throughout the rest of the week. Monday morning, and it's no rest for the wicked. I'm back in the pool. So Monday, it was back in the pool with some sprints, doing quite a lot of work with the parachute. It's been a while since I've used the parachute because during the taper, I haven't wanted to use it because it's quite energy intensive using it. And as a result, I just didn't want to burn myself out. I'm quite feeling it in my lats after today's session, doing 15s with the chute, 2 15s with the chute, and then a 35 max sprint without the chute. So just getting used to doing that tumble turn as well. Again, this was something that I identified at Nationals and still needs a little bit of work on after South Yorkshire's, but the nailing the tumble turn will help me to bring down my times faster. So again, working on that, as well as just general sprint speed. So going into Lublin, my focus is going to be on skills largely, but also trying to touch up the swim speed, because I tried a little bit of a new swim technique at South Yorkshire Masters. That was a higher stroke rate and not extending so much, putting my hand in earlier on the stroke, not reaching as far out to grab as much water. The downside to that is that my stroke is less efficient. However, the benefit to that is that I can get a high stroke rate and therefore generate more power. So for the shorter events, the 50 freestyle as a definite, and perhaps to a certain extent the 100 freestyle as well, it's the technique that I think I'm going to be using going forward. I tried it on the first 25, I remember, of the 100, and potentially the first 50, as well as in the last 15 meters on that 100 at South Yorkshire Masters. But I think I really need to train myself up to be able to use it throughout the entirety of the race, because my third 25 was, yeah, a little bit slow in that regard. It was above 16 seconds, where the second and fourth 25 was between 15 and 16 seconds. And the first one was a 13 point, which, yeah, it attributes to the dive. So I really need to start bringing those back ends down a little bit. So the back end, I need to be going a 30 21.5 and going out in a 28.5. So those second two 25s need to be 15.75 a piece, or average at 15.75. Then the first two, I don't know, need to be quicker. It's hard to tell because the first 25 is always going to be quicker than the second 25 because you've got the dive to aid you on that. So that's sort of the times that I'm aiming for with the 100 to get that elusive 60-second 100 freestyle. So I didn't want to kill myself on the 100 free at South Yorkshire Masters, so I didn't try using that more powerful technique the entire way through the 100. I used it earlier on, mainly in the race, but going to try and work my way up to being able to use it throughout the entire race, because if I can cut that second and a quarter down, then we're in the money. We will hit that sub 60 second. Don't know to what extent I can, by using the technique throughout the entirety of the race, I can bring that time down, but yeah, just with a 27.76 at South Yorkshire's for the 53, I feel as though should be getting incredibly close to that 60-second mark on the 100 meters freestyle. I predict that once I can go quicker than a 27.5 on the 50, that really should be the ticket on the 100. So yeah, because you just need to add a little bit in for extra breaths and tumble and a tumble turn at the first 50 to take that 27.5 up to a 28.5 for the first 50. So you've got thrown a little bit of time there, but otherwise, yeah, we're getting close. I think we're getting really close. Tuesday morning gym session, and it's back at the home gym once more. So it was actually a lot similar, this workout, to the workouts that I've been doing previously. Not an awful lot of change in that sense, but still relatively enjoyable. Doing front squats, dumbbell rows, you know, some dumbbell and barbell work, just the classics. Yeah, I don't know if you can escape these exercises when undergoing a swimming strength program, but nonetheless, an enjoyable session and not an awful lot to report. I'm just getting more and more comfortable to using the home gym in the morning. Feel a little bit stressed because when I do my home gym sessions, those are normally the days where I commute into the office for work, and so I'm a little bit stressed to get things done in time to be able to go out. So I never really feel nice and relaxed in my home gym sessions, but yeah, got off to a decent start, and hopefully we'll get more comfortable with it as I carry on going forward. Wednesday morning, and it's back in the pool. Wednesday swim session, and again, as always, back at the sprints, doing 25s max with a little bit more technique work this time around, which was interesting. It's technique, I find, it's difficult. I prefer practicing set skills / practicing things in almost a race pace environment. So doing tumble turns, pushing off from the wall and doing underwaters. Sculling, yeah, I'm really struggling to understand how struggling benefits. You know, you do get the feel for the water, but when you keep doing it day in, day out, there comes a point where you're just like, what am I meant to be doing with this anymore? So that's something I probably need to work out and understand. Benefits of sculling comes in, because it at the moment it does feel a little bit pointless because I don't understand what I'm meant to be doing. And a key takeaway from my swim training / in general in swim training is to understand why you're actually doing things, so that you can focus on improving that aspect of your swim. So if you're doing technique work, what specific parts of your technique are you practicing? What changes are you looking to make to your technique? And go from there, rather than just generically doing drill, because you won't get anywhere by doing generic training. You need to get specific, and that's true. The faster you get, the more specific you need to be in the changes that you make to your stroke, where, you know, it's no longer about general fitness anymore. It's about specific aspects of your technique so that you can develop your swim speed further. So yeah, need to hone in on that aspect, certainly in the build up to Lublin / a big change that I'm hoping to make for 2026, because just changing my stroke, as I said on Tuesday, but actually implemented at South Yorkshire Masters on Saturday, it got me that personal best. So again, need to make further adjustments to technique to bring that time down even further. And I'm looking at the dive again, looking back at my 50 freestyle dive. My legs weren't close together on entry, so I'm getting a bit of drag there. The actual reaction time looks good. The flight through the air looks half decent, but I need to get myself more in a streamlined position as I hit the water so that I'm not experiencing massive amounts of drag. So a little bit touching up there. It's a lot better than where it was last year, but again, still needs a little bit more touching up from that perspective. But today it was 25s in the pool, 425s off of 4 minutes. Yeah, just practicing that new arm technique rotation. It's feeling good. It doesn't just feel like a one-off fluke, and that I'm able to maintain it going forward. So just need to keep working on it and embed it in the mind as my new technique. So an end of week debrief on my final gym and swim session. So originally planned to do both of these on Thursday. However, Thursday morning came around and yeah, decided just to put things off because I had to go into the office for work, and as such didn't have much time. And so thought, on the basis that I'm working from home today on Friday, I can fit in what I need to over a lunchtime gym session. So that is exactly what I did. So just finish off those exercises, which were largely power exercises. So throw in a medicine ball around / into the floor. What else? Doing essentially rebound, like chest press rebounds. So you're essentially lifting up the bar, dropping it, and then trying to push it back up again for a number of reps. And then some overhead presses, some single leg deadlifts, all in the manner of working on strength. So my current gym phase at the minute is strength related, and I think that's good because I'm not feeling very strong at the moment in the gym. And whilst I most definitely have become a better swimmer, I think that's largely through an improvement in technique as opposed to strength. I felt stronger 2 years ago / I was lifting heavier in the gym. So I feel as though a combination of maintaining that technique work and getting back to the strength that I had in 2023 will hopefully enable me to go faster. So strength work, I think, for me in the gym is going to be a good thing at this point in time. So moving on to last night's club swimming session, 16 25s off of 2 minutes. These were 25 sprint walkbacks, which is hard because it's essentially sprint endurance. You think, 25s, not too difficult, but when you start doing 16 of them with the balance of 2 minutes rest, it does. The lactate builds up and it's hard to continue sprinting. I went into the session tired, so I didn't do it very well, or didn't start off very well to begin with. So I decided that my main focus was going to be on dives, because on my 50 freestyle replay from South Yorkshire Masters, I noticed that despite it's come a long way, I could still do some improvements on making myself nice and streamlined going into the water. And also I've been watching a few dive technique videos this week. So I thought, whilst that's fresh in my head, it'd be worth concentrating on that. So did well, felt as though I was making some progress on my dives. As I started to tire, that inevitably dropped, because when you're doing 16 dives in a row and then the sprint there afterwards, you start to get tired. And when you start to get tired, you just don't do things as well. You can't push yourself off the blocks as well. You're just fatigued. You can't put everything into, well, both your dive and your swim. So it starts to become harder to actually conduct the aspects of the technique that you want to conduct because you just don't have the energy for it. Nonetheless, I did some pretty good dives yesterday and think that they've come on a little bit as a result of last night's session. Again, the key for me is tumble turns, which is what I'm going to be focusing on over the next few weeks in the build up to Europeans, which is the big competition to end off this year and my next big competition. So very much looking forward to that. And it's just working hard for the next couple of weeks or so, maybe a week's taper before heading out to Poland, and then we'll be in the thick of that competition. So still exciting things to come in 2025. We're chasing that 50 fly personal best and that 100 freestyle personal best. So I've knocked 3 out of 5 personal bests down this year and 2 to go with 1 competition left to do it, where Europeans is just the place in order to do that. So very much looking forward to it, hoping that I can consolidate everything that I've learned and built up over the past year with a final strong push to Europeans, which I'm very much looking forward to. That is it for today's video, and if you've enjoyed it, please give it a like. Remember to follow and subscribe for more swimming content, and to swim faster on limited training time, head on over to westcough.com. Otherwise, see you in the next video.